what is happening, Cowboys Nation, and thanks for joining us on Saturday afternoon instead of Friday evening. You know, life happens and everything, but coming to you after what should have been a big win, a 49-17, which the score doesn't tell the whole story. We saw the return of Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
it was his game. 173 yards for him, 151 for CeeDee.
I'm pretty sure. Did somebody call the Brandon Cooks game? Was that you?
That's two bold predictions in a row.
In a row. You better make a bold prediction this week. I want to see it happen. Honestly, you know what the worst thing about that? The only really bad thing about that game was that I can think about is that we had a score prediction that was right on the money. At 49, we did? At 49-10. At 49-10, right on the money. Somebody was going to win that shirt from Twisted Gorilla, and the Cowboys said, "Oh, we don't care about this game, like whatever." And the Giants went down, and they scored a garbage time touchdown to make it 49-17, and nobody had the prediction of 49-17.
Well, I don't think anybody expected them to score 17 points, honestly.
Yeah,
but,
honestly. If it wasn't for the Cowboys basically mailing it in the fourth quarter, throwing Cooper Rush out there, him throwing an interception, the defense just saying whatever, they scored 10 points in the last few minutes of the game.
Right. And then we do have, and we can talk about this. I don't know if you want to talk about it now or we can save it. That how our defense rolls out in the second half.
Let's just go ahead and talk about it right now.
Yeah. It's a pattern, and it's a pattern that we're seeing that I don't know if they're just not fired up enough during halftime to come out there and just go right back into the mode they were in. But I need to go back and look, but I want to say it's been 4 games in a row that they've given up a touchdown right away. When we come back at the half.
So a good buddy of ours, Reed Hansen, recently wrote an article in the Cowboys Wire about that, explaining about that. And it was something like that, except this should be fair. This Giants game, the second half started, and we got a quick 3 and out. It was a very quick 3 and out, 2 sacks right away, then a short pass, and then they punted. And then we didn't do anything with the ball, and we punted. And then they drove 91 yards, I think it was, on us, and scored a touchdown, their first touchdown of the game. So for this game, it wasn't exactly like the first series of the game, but it was like within the first 5 minutes of the game because it was so quick, their second possession. They drove 91 yards. And so every team, even the Eagles 2 weeks ago, they went back-to-back drives. Their first 2 drives out of the half, they went and scored touchdowns. So there's something about what's going on at half that's not connecting with the defense and Dan Quinn and what they want to do. And they get it righted, but I don't know really what's going on. That's something that the Cowboys probably need to look at and figure out what halftime adjustments are teams making on us that we're not making the correct adjustments for.
Agree. Yeah, it's a pattern that we need to stop.
Yeah.
Because in this game, or last week's game, and I'm just gonna say it, in this week's game for sure, we can afford those little hiccups in that way.
Yeah.
But in the month of December and what our schedule's looking like, we don't need to put ourselves behind in any way with that.
Oh yeah, and it was killer against the Eagles, and the Eagles, were able to jump up on us, and we were chasing them the whole time. Against the Rams, we had a huge lead going into getting ready for the halftime, and the Rams scored their last drive of the first half. They scored right before half. Okay, but then they got the ball back, and they went right down the field and scored again, and it kind of made it like, oh, hold on a second, they've put themselves in a scoring position to be like, if they keep playing like this, they can make it a game. Of course, the Cowboys adjusted and stopped and kind of blew them out the rest of the game. But still, like, coming out of the half, they scored that touchdown, and it gave them a little bit of hope, a little bit of chance. Something's got to happen. You can't have teams, especially good teams, when it's a close game, be able to double tip right out of the half like that.
Right. I agree.
But this game was kind of a blowout. The Giants have not beaten Dak Prescott. Now, I'm not saying the Cowboys, but they have not beaten a Dak Prescott-led Cowboys team since 2016, his rookie year.
His rookie year.
How crazy is that?
That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
Dak lost his 2 games against the Giants in his rookie year. Both games, they lost both of them to the Giants. And then basically said, yeah, I'm never losing to this team again.
I am going to be your daddy.
I am done. I'm not losing to this team again.
Right.
Like, they were the only team to beat him his rookie year in the regular season. And then he just was like, I'm not losing to this team anymore. And he hasn't. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and like he put what, he was 26 for 35 for 404 yards. The Cowboys put up a total of 640 yards on the day.
Yeah. He had like 2 bad throws, like really bad throws in this game. One resulted in an interception. The other one could have resulted in an interception late in the game. Brandon Cooks game made a really good defensive play to kind of like make it a more difficult catch. It was already a difficult catch that the guy might not have made. But Brandon Cooks made it even more difficult to where it wasn't made. But outside of those 2 throws, of the 35, I really can't think of another like egregious throw.
Right. He did come out and say that I've got some feedback. He did come back and say that that throw to CD, the really wild one, that CD had to come back and get it. That he was actually trying to throw it away. That he was trying to throw it out of bounds, and so.
It's true, and I know that people. Sorry for interrupting you.
No.
But there were some people I know, like, it looked like a bad throw at first, and then CD caught it, and then you're like, okay. But you really look at it, and nobody else was around there. It didn't go out of bounds, granted, but nobody else was really that close to make the play. It was only a CD Lamb was in the area to make that play. It's still not a throw you want him making all the time, but it just like it's one of those heat checks. Like, when you're on, and when things are clicking, and things were definitely clicking at that time for him and CD.
Lost my audio.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, no. Well, Cam tries to get that back. I'll just go through some of these stats that we had in this game. It was a pretty crazy game. Dak Prescott, if you don't know, 26 for 35, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns passing. He did have that 1 interception. Then he had 2 rushes for 17 yards and a touchdown. 5 total touchdowns for Dak Prescott. The running game, I mean, you look at the overall stats, it's not terrible. But Rico Dowdle, like we talked about Brandon Cooks making a game. We talked about Brandon Cooks coming out and doing something. Rico Dowdle really, really showed up in this game. He had 12 carries, 79 yards, and his touchdown. I think it's time, and I wish Cam was here. She would talk a little bit about it as well. I think it's time we need to start splitting this backfield a little bit more. Right now, it has been predominantly Tony Pollard, but this last game, it was 12 carries for Rico Dowdle, 15 carries to Tony Pollard. I think that's about right. I do. Like, I think that, give them that almost 45 split. Maybe if you want to push it to 60-40, like, I'm fine with that. But I think Dowdle needs to start having those extra carries. Dowdle has proven himself to be a reliable back. He's actually, in my opinion, more of a power runner than Tony Pollard. So look at goal line carries, short yardage carries. It might need to be Rico Dowdle out there, honestly. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of Hunter Lumpke. Give him some of those goal line carries 100%. That first series, 4th down, like 4th and goal from the 4. Dowdle, I mean, Pollard probably shouldn't have been the guy. Charlie should have been Rico Dowdle or Hunter Lumpke. We need to start looking at how we're distributing the running back play. Because Tony Pollard is a good back. He's had some good runs here and there. He's not back 100% from that ankle injury. I don't know if he trusts it. It might be a confidence issue. He's just not 100% back from that. So Rico Dowdle has proven he should get more carries, get the man some more carries. We went and talked about, we talked about a little bit about the wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know what else you can say about CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what else you can say about him. CeeDee Lamb has been on an absolute tear the last 4 weeks. And the last 3 weeks in particular, he's 4 weeks in a row of over 100 yards. 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row, 150 yards and 10 catches. He's the only player in NFL history to do 3 weeks in a row of 150 yards and 10 receptions in a game. That's insane. You're not going to see that again. That's just wild. He is on an absolute tear. This game, he had 151 yards, 2 TDs because he had a rushing touchdown as well with 14 rushing yards. As Cam predicted, the Brandon Cooks game, man went off for 9 catches, 173 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely balled out, as Cam predicted. Brandon Cooks game. I mean,
I think I'm back.
There we go.
Yeah,
we go. I've just been running through stats and
yeah,
talking
no,
about
that's
how
great.
crazy.
No, I just had massive static. It was going in the ears, and then even
Oh, that's just my voice. I'm sorry.
No, just normal computer problems of somehow, some way. There must have been, I don't know. There's not even a storm cloud to blame it on at this point. So
yeah. So I was just running through stats. I will kind of recap. We'll go back and talk and just get your opinion on 2 things. We talked about CeeDee Lamb, how the tear. I talked about CeeDee Lamb, how the tear he's on. First player in NFL history, 150 yards and 10 receptions in a game for 3 straight games.
3 straight games.
Brandon Cooks went off. We saw Michael Gallup sighting, make some big catches. What I wanted to ask you,
we saw Brooks.
We saw Brooks, Jalen Brooks making plays. What I wanted to ask you about is get your opinion, because I already gave mine. Is it time for Rico Dowdle to get more carries? And what should the split be, in your opinion?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, without a doubt, he needs to have more of the load. We saw that completely. As far as percentage, I'm not sure there's a certain percentage I think that needs to be hit. It may roll on how the game is going, what defenders we're going up against, what the offensive line looks like. If one of them, if one of them's on a streak and it's just their day, then go more with them. I don't know if I'd ever put like a certain number, but I would definitely be, my game plan would be, okay, I'm giving them both the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, just bring him in when it looks like Pollard's like spent or anything like that. So.
Okay. I was thinking like 60-40, maybe, 60 Pollard, 40 Dowdle, see how that rolls. But yeah, the main point is just get this guy some touches. Like
right.
12 carries, 79 yards, 6.6 average. That was taken down by the fact that he had 1 carry at the 1 yard line when he got stopped on a big run, like a 19-yard run at the 1. They gave him his touchdown the next run. So his average went down with that because he only could get 1 yard. So, the guy played amazing. He really showed out, and I'm really excited for this next game, kind of segueing into this next game with tomorrow with the Carolina Panthers and their atrocious run defense. So let's kind of jump into that game.
Yeah.
And let's go with our offense, because we're kind of talking about the running backs already. Our offense versus their defense. What are some matchups, people you like in this game?
I don't want to say, I don't want it to be another game that I'm not afraid of anybody. I have to say that if JC Horn is back, it'll be interesting to see what what level, how much percentage they're going to use him out on the field. This is not a good defensive line. They don't seal the edges well at all. Now the linebacker, is it Banks?
Yep.
He's one that I do have concerns about, just because I think that Burns. I'm sorry, it's Burns.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back.
Yeah, and he's good. And Burns I think can be a bit disruptive, and he's used somewhat in the Micah, role, not of course, not to the same level, but like that. So my fear would be them putting him up against Terrence Steele. And if that's the case, then I'm going to need them to get McEwen or Luke Key. You know, we need a tight end. We need somebody maybe in there chipping to help out Terrence in that way.
Yeah, he's from what I've seen is he's predominantly a right defensive end, which would put him against Tyron.
Right.
But
I
it would be smart of them to move him around and move him to get him against Steele some. Yeah.
I would not put him against Tyler, especially the way Tyler's been playing. As far as anything else, this is another. I mean, I can.
Oh, just to let you know, JC Horn who was not activated yet, so he's
okay. Out. Okay, so we have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 injured players on this team. 9 of them on the defense. 9 of them are on IR. This is a decimated team. Derek Brown can, he can bring a little heat, but they're going to probably put Dante Jackson on CD. So I'm going to call it now. It's another Cooks game. It's another Brandon Cooks game. This defense, it's Burns is my biggest concern out of anybody.
Yeah. And I like Derek Brown as well, but he's a defensive tackle. He plays well, but when you don't have another good, strong defensive tackle, it makes it difficult. Right. So I don't know how much he's going to be able to do. He's going to be able to make some plays, but it's not going to be anything devastating to this offense. Burns being back is something that, like you said, he can rush the passer. He is not very good at run defense. At all. He is a pass rusher by name and trade. Like that's what he does. He gets after the quarterback. Does not care if the other guy gets the ball. Like he wants to get the quarterback. And that's what he does. And he specializes in that. And he's very good at it. So if they get him against Steele, that is something Dak's gonna have to watch. Okay. Hey, Burns is lined up against Steele. I'm gonna have to get this ball out because it's not gonna be pretty.
Right.
So
do you have the percentage? Oh, sorry. Do you have the percentage how much they play man versus zone? Because I want to say that they don't touch zone.
If they play man, they're in trouble.
Lowest percentage. Yeah, they have like one of the lowest percentages playing zone. I think there is. I want to say they're like 31st or something crazy like that.
I'm not sure, but I will. I'm gonna look that up right now. But if they play man, they're in a lot of trouble because Dak Prescott has feasted on man defense this year.
Yeah. But I mentioned earlier, I can't say that I was watching entire Carolina games but went through and pieced through and got highlights from each of them. You can run on the outside of them all day, every day, all the time.
They are currently, I'll just have it up because I have it up. They're the 24th worst rushing defense in the league right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's by total yards, so it could be worse with the average. I cannot find the percentages. I'm sorry for the. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, Carolina Panthers. They play. Oh, it doesn't give a percentage. I'm sorry. It just shows.
Okay. I want to say I heard something like they're 31st. They're like 31st.
Okay, yeah. It just
and how much zone they play.
How good they are. They're really bad at zone. They're pretty good at man coverage, but they struggle in zone. But I don't think it matters. But it doesn't give me the percentage of how much they play. Yeah. Oh wait. Nope, it doesn't. Sorry, I'm just kind of. But I can't find that, so I do apologize. But I think you're right. I think they do play a ton of man coverage. but they're obviously not good at either one. So.
Right, right. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that would be my my one concern looking at this defense.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a certain matchup that you think that favors the Cowboys?
All of them. I think I said that last week too.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I think that we identified like one matchup last week that kind of gave.
You mean on the defense itself, right? Or are you talking about the whole game?
No, Carolina's defense. Let's.
Oh yeah, no.
I would say the only thing that kind of favors them is Burns against Terrence Steele.
Right. That would be
if
my.
They put him over there, yeah.
Yeah, if they pull him over there. Other than that, no. Yeah. I mean, I Dante Jackson either on Cooks or CD. I mean,
yeah.
I hope he ate his Wheaties because he's going to need it.
Okay, so let's get into our defense. Their offense. Their offense is run by rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young. What are some matchups that you're liking over there?
Okay, so this is not the greatest offensive line. I think Brady Bozeman can be bullied around. Kwamu. I see a big day once again for Tank and Micah with these tackles. Taylor Morton, Taylor Motton, I just don't think is good at all. And I think that's going to be a big one. The one that I have concerns about matchup with us would be Adam Thielen with J. Lou covering him.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. The same thing. Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard can be, he's pushy. He can power some of that. But honestly, I had one person on defense that I had a concern about, and I have one person on offense that I have concern about. And I think that Bryce Young uses Adam Thielen as his safety net.
Mm-hmm.
And with good reason. I mean, if I had this offense and I had Adam Thielen, I would be, going to him as much as I could too. And Adam Thielen, we know can play all over, and him in the slot with J. Lou is going to be could be the problematic, and that's how I think that they get any scores would be that right there.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I think that Adam Thielen is the concern. Is him playing in the slot and J. Lou with him. I think you're going to have to have a safety kind of cover that middle just for protection on that, because I think that's what Young is going to be looking for. One thing about it is that Bryce Young has been really bad under pressure this year. So you pressure him and he's going to make those mistakes. And so this defensive line, again, we've talked about it multiple times. Same thing with Tommy DeVito last week. Pressure. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make some bad throws, lead to interceptions. You're going to get some sacks here. He is more mobile. So that's something that I think the Dallas Cowboys always have to worry about, because no matter what defense we have, no matter how good our defense is, for some reason, we cannot stop running quarterbacks. So that's something that you're going to have to look for, is Bryce Young taking off and getting that first down on that 3rd down and 6, because for whatever reason, we can't stop a running quarterback to save our lives. So that's something to look at. I think that outside of the running by Bryce Young and Thielen lined up in the slot against Jordan Lewis, you're going to have an easy day with your defense. I'm not really scared of anybody else on their team. On offense, their offensive line, like you said, is not great. The defensive line should be able to eat all day. Micah Parsons should be able to eat. DeMarcus Lawrence should be able to eat. So Bland should probably get another interception. Just saying it. I called it last week. Bland's interception. Calling it this week. Bland is probably going to get another. Bland is going to get another interception, people. Like, that's just how this game is going to go. I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
No,
in my opinion.
This is just a skosh better team than the Giants. I mean, undeniably, the Giants are the worst team in the NFL right now. I mean, they're.
Well, I mean, the Panthers do have a worse record.
I know. This is true.
I mean,
This
this
true.
is by record. This is the worst team in the NFL right now. They
Yeah.
are 1-8 or 1-9,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Who did they beat?
oh, that's a good question. Let me pull it up right now. They beat the Texans 15-13.
Well, was that early on. It had
No,
to be.
that was 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
It was right before Stroud started really going off.
Okay.
Yeah, the Stroud has gone off the last 2 weeks. It was right before
Right.
that. Maybe that woke him up. But I mean, they just lost to the Bears in one of the worst, sloppiest games I've ever seen in my life. They lost to the Colts. They got blown out by the Dolphins, blown out by the Lions, lost to the Vikings, lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Saints, lost to the Falcons. Like, they just have not really been a good team. Yeah, they're 1-8 right now.
Well, I hope Marvin Harrison Jr. is really happy on that team next year.
They don't have a pick. Their pick goes to the Bears.
That's right.
So right now the Bears have the number 1 pick because
that's right.
So the Bears playing that game, it wasn't even about draft position. They were like, "Oh, do we win or lose? It doesn't matter. We're getting a better draft pick because of whoever loses."
Right.
So yeah. Let's get into some predictions about our star players and where we think are some bold predictions and then score predictions. Give me your star player on offense for the Dallas Cowboys.
It's going to be Brandon Cooks again.
Brandon Cooks. Something about Brandon Cooks.
I'm doing it back to back on this one. Like I said, CD would be the Dak or CD, I think would be the obvious one.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at these corners. I was looking at their speed and just knowing Brandon's speed and his route running. I just feel like it's going to be another cookout.
Yeah. Let me. I'm going to go with a one that's probably no one's going to predict. No one's going to think I'm going to go with. Obviously, you said CD, Dak. Those are the obvious ones. I think they're going to cook. I really do. I think they're going to dominate. But you called the Brandon Cooks game last week. I am calling the Rico Dowdle game this week.
Nice.
He is going to have a touchdown, and he is going to have his first 100-yard game.
Nice.
I think that they're going to try to run the ball a little bit more because this, like I said, this team they're bad against the run. They're better against the pass. They're better against the pass than they are against the run. I think it's because teams, obviously, this factors into it. Let me just not say that they're a good pass defense. This factors into it. Teams get leads on them and then they just run the ball.
Right.
I think that's going to happen here where the Cowboys get out to a big lead and we're going to run the ball. I think Rico Dowdle is going to have a touchdown and he's going to have his first 100-yard game. He got close. He got within 21 yards last week. I think this week is the game where Rico Dowdle is going to have his 100-yard game, and I'm going to call it the Rico Dowdle game.
Nice.
Okay, star player on the defense.
I so want to say Tank again. I'm just going to say Tank again. I'm going to say it's Tank. I said Tank last week. It's Tank. That side of that offensive line with him, I don't see them being able to stop him.
I understand.
Yeah.
Completely understand. I think Tank is going to eat. He had a sack last game. Played really well against the run as always.
That'd be Taylor Motton against him, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with his counterpart, and I the reason why is obviously Micah Parsons is like an obvious choice every week. But I got to admit, last week I didn't really like Micah Parsons' body language. We were dominating, we're killing, but he seemed upset. and he seemed very down. He wasn't like it looked like he was just getting easily upset, and he was annoyed with how the game was going. And I think it was because every time he broke through, the ball was Tommy was running and getting rid of the ball really quickly, and I think he's getting annoyed by that. And Micah Parsons is a guy, he wants to play, he loves to play, he's very passionate, but he wants to make an impact. And when he's not making a huge impact, like he's getting annoyed by it, like, oh, I'm not making the plays that I normally make and everything like that.
Right.
And then some people question him this week. Is he slowing down? You know, what's going on with Micah Parsons? He's, you know, that you could look at his history and see, like last year, the second half, he wasn't as effective as he was in the first half. Like, hey, you know, is he slowing down again this year? And
Well,
I think
bruised up after so many games.
yes,
You know,
absolutely. And
tired.
he's not a guy like the size of Tank or like a lot of these defensive ends. Like he's a linebacker sized player playing defensive end and even rushing in the middle of the line where you get banged around a lot. So I get it. I think Micah Parsons is going to come out and he wants to put that to rest. And I'm going to say Micah Parsons has a two sack game. I think he's going to make an impact. 2 sacks and a forced fumble. That's where I'm going. Two sacks and a forced fumble for Micah Parsons. I think he's going to come out. He's going to set the tone, and he's going to play great. That's what I think is going to happen for the defensive side of the ball. It's going to make Bryce Young's life difficult, as it has been the whole season for him. Bold prediction. I am so excited to hear your bold prediction because you've gotten back-to-back bold predictions right.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to hear, what is your bold prediction for Week 11 versus the Carolina Panthers?
Well, you kind of pulled part of what I was going to do in it with your offensive player. So I'm just going to say it right now. Rico Dowdle, 100 yards. Brandon Cooks, 100 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 100 yards. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
All three get 100 yards.
All three are getting 100 yards. I'm just going to keep adding a guy each week. First it was CeeDee, then it was CeeDee and Cooks.
See how far we could push this thing.
You know? I'm going to have the ball boy on there by week 17.
Right. Terrence Steele, 100 yards. You know, like,
yeah.
So, no, I like it. I like it. You know, it incorporates what I got, adds it into what you want and you got, and we're going to do it. So 100 yards.
Oh, you know what? One thing we did forget to mention, they signed Rashad Evans to the 53 this morning.
Oh, okay.
So now there's speculation as to who's going to be out the door because we had to send somebody out the door. I feel it's going to be Wheat. We haven't used him, we haven't seen much out of him or anything like that.
He's been special teams only, yeah.
Right. And I can't see them, you know, as much as we know it's desperation if we have to use Nahshon Wright, we still have him on special teams.
He played when late in the game. He gave up that last touchdown.
Right. Eric Scott, I don't see them, you know, I think if you put him down on practice squad, that kid's gone.
Yeah, he's a draft pick. They're going to protect their draft pick.
Yeah. And so I think Wheat's gone because we did sign Evans.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. All right, let's before we get into I've got to do my bold prediction, and then we will get into something else. My bold prediction is that I honestly, and I think that we're going to have a punt block this week. We've had punt blocks throughout the year. I don't think we have a punt block this. No, we do. We have one punt block this year. We have a field goal block. I know it's not super bold because the Dallas Cowboys do it a couple times every year. I just think we're going to have one this week. The last 2 weeks, we have been so close to getting a punt block. It's like within inches. And last against the Giants, there was 2 of them where we were incredibly close. Well, one I actually thought we got, but we didn't.
I did. Yeah,
I think that this week, breakthrough, we get another punt block. Return for a touchdown. Let's go there. Punt block, return for a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. And I will say Dorrance Armstrong gets it. Let's go, Dorrance.
Okay.
Okay, before we get into the final score predictions, okay, we do have to address something that is out there that Cam might not want to address. But for the fans, let's just quickly talk about it. Is this the end of the line for LVE, career-wise?
Yes. Yes.
I think so.
I mean,
For his own health, I think it has to be.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And it makes me sad. I mean, I have been a day one of the guy. I fought through the lean years when everybody hated him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a baby on the way. He's, and that's like multiple surgeries on the neck already. No C came out and said that he could see him, that he can see him becoming a coach, and that he is the type of coach that players would run through a wall for.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to think that some of that is the time that he spent with Sean Lee, because when Sean Lee was here, Sean Lee was like the first player that was on the field, and he was the last player to leave. And LVE is that guy. He was always like one of the first ones out on that field, and extra work in the weight room and everything like that. So I would love to see that happen. I'm sure that he's going to go back to Idaho, and he's going to have more wolf hunter cubs, and they're going to go and hunt wolves, and he'll have a great life there. And he has signed, people don't realize it, but he has signed a lot of deals with the outdoors companies, the ones that a lot of the players don't get a hold of because they're not quite that lifestyle. And so he'll be okay, but it makes me sad.
We wanted that for Sean Lee. For a little bit, I thought Sean Lee was going to do that, but he hasn't. So it would be great, even if it's not in Dallas, to go like some other league, like Jason Witten's coaching high school football right now in Texas, doing a really good job. Defeated, doing a great job.
And both kids are playing.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Both sons are playing, but they're right down the road from me here, and but they're undefeated right now.
Yeah. So something like that for him, maybe coaching football, 8-on-8 out in Idaho. Like that would be something that I could see for him, and I wish him the best. I hope him speedy recovery, and if he does want to come back and like he feels safe and the doctors give him the green light, I would love to have him back. Absolutely. He's a great leader on this team. He makes plays. People might hate him for whatever reason. He's not Jalen Smith. Like that seems to be the dominant reason is that we got rid of Jalen Smith and not him. He's better, and he's always been better. So wish him the best. Wish him a full recovery, and whatever his decision is going to be, I'm going to support it. Whether it's Cowboys or whether it's Hudson Wolves all year long. So
right.
Whatever happens. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into the final score predictions. What do you got for us, Ken?
It's gonna be 42-10. And we know they might get that 7. They might get that 7 with Thielen when it's not garbage time. But I feel like the 7 comes with Thielen in garbage time, and that they might squeak out one field goal before that. But yeah, it's 42-10.
Okay. Well, I'm with you. I'm Team 40 Burger here. I got 45-13. That's what I had. So our difference is kind of the same. Our margin of victory is the same.
Right.
But I had 45-13. I think it's a Team 40 Burger again. I don't think this game is close. I score. I gave them a touchdown. When do you think I gave them a touchdown?
What now?
When do you think I give them their touchdown?
When? I mean, once we've pulled our starters on defense, I mean...
No, unfortunately, I give them the touchdown at the start of the
second half.
Start of the second half. Yeah, because that's the trend.
It
That is the trend
is.
right now.
It
The Dallas
is.
Cowboys giving up that touchdown coming out of half. So that's when I got him scoring a touchdown, and then a couple field goals battered in here and there. Probably one late in the game or whatever. But 45-13, it's not going to be a close game. It's going to be a blowout. Dak and the starters are really going to be sitting on the bench most of the fourth, if not all of the fourth quarter of
Right.
the game. So that's our score predictions. I'm going to put out, as soon as we are done with this show, I'm going to put out the score prediction tweet contest. Again, somebody was literally like minutes away from winning last week because the Giants scoring that garbage time touchdown took it away from him. We're still looking for our winner this year. Predict the correct score. What team scores what? Predict the correct score of the game of the Dallas Cowboys versus Carolina Panthers, and you will win a free shirt from Twisted Gorilla. Please go on their website, check out their gear. They have tons of awesome shirts for any team. Even if you don't like the Cowboys and you want a different team, or you know, hey, Christmas is coming up, you know your cousin and your brother, they like the Packers or like the 49ers or whatever. Like tons of great shirts on there for sports teams and other stuff as well. Just a great site. Check them out. But if you predict the score right, you get a free shirt from us from that website. Cam, what other contests do we got going on?
We are giving away, once we hit 1,000 followers there that have subscribed on our YouTube channel, we are giving away a autographed Michael Gallup jersey. So tell your friends, hit the like button, subscribe, the notification button, get in there, because we will randomly choose one, but we got to get to 1,000. So
Got to get there.
let everybody know.
All right, so that's it for the show this week. We hope everybody has a great weekend, and has a great Sunday. Cowboys win, have a victory Monday. We will put something out next week because we know we have the next 2 weeks. We have a Thursday game, so we're going to have to have an earlier show in the week to get those Thursday games. We'll let you know when that is because we got to get together. And we got to figure out our own schedules,
Right?
for days and everything like that. So
yeah, because I have. Well, yes, because I actually, I work all day Friday because all the kids are home from college. So I will be doing photo sessions that whole day. And then hopefully is it the next Friday? My Huskies would be playing in the Pac-12 championship game. But
yeah, I think that's going to happen. I don't see that not happening. So
yeah.
I think Huskies pull it out. They're going to be Pac-12 champs, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
be in the playoffs. So Cam will be happy about that.
Right. So.
All right, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and go Cowboys.